Morning. I'm off on a little explore today. Only decided last night, and just spotted somewhere interesting on the OS Maps app. A few nice interesting features, and I read up a little bit about it. I couldn't see any, well, I could see one other record of somebody having done a walk around the area previously, and I think there's probably reasons for that. And reason number one is there's a whacking great big limestone quarry in the middle of where we're going, and number two, we're right on the doorstep of other great walks. You know, we're about 4 or 5 kilometres from Castleton, so obviously not very far from Mamtor and the Great Ridge and all of those fabulous walks. And as there's a big quarry on this one, why would anybody come here instead of there? But as I say, some interesting features. The quarry was ceased in the 1990s, so about 30 years ago, and from what I can see, nature is starting to take hold again, so it could be quite interesting. But there's also a pothole, very deep pothole, and there's a Bronze Age burial mound amongst other things on the walk. So I thought, I've no real route to follow, I'll just set out and follow the map and follow my nose and see what we find. So I've parked up in the little village of Peak Forest, which up until a few years ago was pretty much the preserve of limestone wagons and covered in dust, but is emerging as a very nice village now. And I'm walking up now towards Eldon Hill, the half of which was lost to the Eldon Hill quarry. But come along with me and we'll see what we can find. It's a very hazy day with a sort of a light mist, but the sun's trying to push its way through, so hopefully it'll brighten up. Wind's a bit stronger than I expected, but it's not cold. Just heading up Eldon Lane now, and I noticed from the map there's a mine, a disused mine, a much older one I believe, up that valley that you can see just over there. It's got the interesting name of Clear the Way Mine. Wonder how that came about. I've just passed through Sweet Knold Farm and Eldon Lane Farm, and then the path starts to rise sharply up towards Eldon Hill. See, back down there now towards Peak Forest and the A623 that is the busy main road through there. Probably lovely views on a different day than today. But yeah, very low misty haze. See some of that low mist ripping down the valley now. We're up onto access land now, so I'm just going to follow the path, but hopefully we can cut off left and then head up onto Eldon Hill. Some of the limestone features starting to come into view now, a few outcrops. So this is Eldon Hole, large pothole according to Wikipedia. It's the deepest in the area at 55 metres. Quite impressive. I find a hoop bivvy quite claustrophobic. I don't think I'm quite cut out for potholing, to be honest. Hats off to those that do it. Right, after heading north or slightly north-northwest up from Eldon Hole, I've investigated a couple of likely spots, but I think this is the Bronze Age tumulus or burial mound. It's been, according to Wikipedia, it's been excavated a couple of times and they've found human skeletons, jewellery, other artefacts. So yeah, quite a fascinating place. Whether some of the lesser spots I found are lesser burial mounds, or, you know, on the other hand, they could be test mines and that sort of thing. But yeah, there's lots of interesting stuff around here. Quite extensive, and in this one it's kind of capped off with some stone. Whether that's more modern, I suspect it might be. It's very uniform, probably to stop people disturbing the remains. Yeah, there's a whole chain of different smaller mounds, so probably a variety of people that were interred here back in the Bronze Age, and that kind of explains what I mentioned earlier about some of the spots I found that I thought might be the tumulus, but were probably kind of outlying mounds. Yeah, fascinating. Yeah, it's spread over quite an area. Anyway, with that, I'm going to push on up to the top of Eldon Hill. Just below the summit cairn, this is marked as a disused mine. You can see a few excavations running on down the side of the hill. There we have it, Eldon Hill. What a fabulous view. I think I'll have to come back another day. Such a shame about the visibility, but I'm hunkered down, as our American friends say, in one of the little mine excavations, and I'll just get the map out and show you where we've come from and what we've discovered so far. So, another reason why this walk might not be as popular as it could be is it's stuck right down on the bottom corner of the Dark Peak OS map. So we've parked just off the map here and walked up, turned left along this minor road, which is actually part of the Pennine Bridleway, and then taken a right up past those two farms that I mentioned, and then carried on up. And as you get into open access land, you can kind of cut left around, the path meanders round this way. First stop we came to was Eldon Hill, and then kind of cut up this way. And although this tumulus is kind of marked as a dot, it's a series of workings across this area, because when I came up from the final bit, I just came almost straight up to these mine workings here, and then on up to the top of Eldon Hill. So yeah, some interesting stuff. And just from the summit of Eldon Hill now, you can see the fenced off area around the quarry. This is the actual steep quarry face. So what I'm planning to do is skirt around here, pick up the path on the far side of the quarry, walk around this side so I can get some, hopefully get some views back into the quarry, then down around this way and cut back round. So yeah, shame about the views, but you know, with the low mist, but a very interesting walk so far. I forgot to mention, as I said earlier, one of the reasons why this is possibly not one of those walks that you see documented or in books or anything like that is you can see the close proximity to Castleton is just here, Mamtor, and then obviously you're over to Edale. So it's yeah, it's got some stiff competition, let's say, but yeah, plenty of interest. So Eldon Hill, it's about 470 metres high, and it was formed by, it's obviously laid down as a, you know, a low-lying limestone formation, and then forced up into a mound by tectonic activity or volcanic activity, and pushed up above the surface. And it's one of the kind of more northern exposures of limestone in the Peak District, because further north in here it's all capped by the gritstones of the Dark Peak. And yeah, obviously I think it was in the 50s they got the license to excavate it, and Eldon Hill quarry was built, and that's eaten half of the mountain away. I think they did apply in the late 80s to extend the quarry eastwards, and that was denied because obviously environmental considerations are much more to the forefront, and the quarry was closed in the 1990s. So I don't know what visibility we're going to get in the quarry, but it'll be interesting to see how nature's taking hold again. So we're just up to the border fence now, and with the mist, unfortunately, there's not a lot to be seen, just a drop into the abyss. Might not show up on the camera, but I can see one or two of the quarry roads on the far side, but that's about it at the moment. Whether the mist will be a little bit less when we skirted round and we can see back onto the quarry walls, we shall find out. Just starting to get a little bit of visibility. Wow, it's quite spectacular. Gonna put my jacket on. It's gone really cold with that breeze and the mist. That's the view back up towards Eldon Hill, shrouded in mist. Kind of just left the quarry behind, but there's a perimeter fence to follow, and looking at the map, that should bring me down to a footpath that leads me around the far side of the quarry with a bit of luck. So I'm going to try and head for that. Just through this section again, there's still loads of little interesting outcrops and mounds. Don't think all of them are marked on the map. Just dropped down now and it seems to cut left at this gate here. Just seen a fell runner go that way, so you can obviously get through. Just as you descend down out of the fields, pick up a bridleway and turn left back down towards the quarry. Just as you come down that bridleway, you get a view down into the quarry again. Don't know how well it's gonna convey the sense of scale really, but it's absolutely immense. They basically emptied out half a mountain, half a hill. Huge. I do like a bit of industrial archaeology sometimes on my walks. Adds a bit of interest, but usually you've got 100 or a couple of 100 years for nature to round off the rough edges, and that's just starting to happen here now. It's about 30 years since we stopped quarrying here, but you can see nature starting to get a foothold again. And what a great habitat it's going to be for peregrines and ravens and other cliff dwelling species. Yeah, it'll all get softened down and taken over again. What an interesting place that. Gives you an opportunity to see across all the different layers in the limestone. You'd imagine that it would have been laid down more or less horizontally in most cases, and then as the hill was formed by being pushed up, you can see the layers are at a gentle slope. Might be able to get a better idea of the scale. It's kind of U-shaped. I've just walked down a stretch that's probably the same length as the section that you can see heading off into the distance there. Massive. Imagine all the dust and the explosions and the thunder of the wagons and all of that sort of thing just a few years back. I'm sure it brought a lot of employment to the area, but I'm sure there's a lot in the village that are glad to see the back of all the dust and disruption. The bridleway's just popped out onto a road now, just below the quarry. So we turn left, just head down the road with the quarry on the left, past a lake, small lake, and then I think there should be a footpath to the left very shortly. So we're on the road for less than 100 metres, and then there's a sign for a footpath to the left, just to the side of the little lake. Some signs that they've been trying to plant some woodland here to help nature get back on course. But yeah, a lot of the little trees seem to be struggling. That's just the harsh weather or lack of water. I suppose with the underlying limestone it might be the latter, because it drains very quickly. Got to wondering about that tree just up on the top there. Wondering whether that's grown in the last 30 years since they stopped quarrying, or whether it just got the last reprieve. I said, right, we're not going any further, and the tree went phew. Thank God for that. Getting peckish now, need to find somewhere to sit. Have a sandwich. Just drop down away from the quarry through a little woodland, across a stile, and I'm assuming the path goes straight across this field. Bit of a stampede going on up here. As long as I don't end up in the middle of it, I'm happy. The footpath isn't that well marked across the field, but there was another stile at the last wall, and the map shows the footpath passing to the right of this farm. However, I've just spotted another stile in this wall here, so whether it's officially across there, I'll just have to have a little explore. Well, it kind of cut through the farmyard. I've no idea whether it was the official path or not. Nobody shouted at me anyway, and I think I'm just going down to Eldon Lane now. So I'll see if I can spot whether there's a footpath sign heading up this way. And yeah, there was a public footpath sign, and there is a stile over the wall, although as you can see the gate's open as well. It's just what the official route is through the farmyard is anybody's guess. So for the record, I emerged at Slacksdale Farm, or the entrance to, and I've just taken a left, and that'll just take me back down into the village. So yeah, it's been an interesting walk. It'll be around about 5 miles I think by the time I get back down to where I've got Dennis the van parked. Lots of good stuff to see. There's the view back up towards Eldon Hill. Still misty, but a little bit clearer than it was. I've just taken my jacket off again. You can just see the face of the quarry to the left, and then the hill rising up behind. Not that you can see right up onto the actual summit. Llama or alpaca? I don't know. Anyone know? So, I hope you found that interesting. I certainly did. And thanks very much for joining me once again. And thanks to everybody who's subscribed so far. Much appreciated, and very much appreciate all your comments and encouragement. I do enjoy doing these little videos, but it does make it worthwhile when you know that people are getting something out of watching them. So yeah, just about half a mile back to where I'm parked now, so I'll bid you farewell, and hope you join me again on my next little adventure. Thanks a lot and goodbye.